On today's primetime local news, how the Lloydminster Rescue Squad became the heartbeat of the community since its inception.
We started out with about 8 people, and then it's grown from there.
And the Lloydminster Barons coach, Aaron Harper, faces new challenges going into 2020.
I'll be the head coach of the U18 team that'll be at Canada Cup, and then basically I'll make sure that everyone is developing.
Plus, Reeve of MD of Bonnyville speaks about challenges farmers faced in 2019 and a look ahead at 2020.
Well, it was a struggle. You know what? We had the economy for this area is still not moving along as it should.
Prime time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening, I'm Judy Gabriel. Thanks for joining us. Lloydminster Rescue Squad has proudly provided emergency medical services and technical rescue to the border city and surrounding area since 1981. I sat down with Chief Norman Namier and Deputy Chief Ryan LeBlanc to talk about how far the rescue squad has come since its inception, new technologies, and why the community has been such a critical component in its success to date. It's been quite the year for the Lloydminster Rescue Squad, and with me here is Chief Norm Namier and Deputy Chief Ryan LeBlanc. Great to have both of you here.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. So lots of things obviously have been happening for you guys. Let's take it a little bit back. 1984 was the beginning of the rescue squad. Tell us a little bit about that and what that was about. It wasn't a lot of people that started this, right?
No, back in 1984, the concept came up that we should have an organization that could do rescue, that we would do highway extrication and just all aspects of rescue. So a couple of us got together, and one Mr. Graham Howie had the thought of putting this squad together, and so he did. We started out with about 8 people, and then it's grown from there. 1984, that concept was realized, and then in 1985 is when we actually incorporated the Lloyd Rescue Squad Inc. business. So
definitely, and that was a big turn for you guys, obviously. And I think it was the Lions Club that came on board. Or was it somebody else came on board and kind of? Yeah,
the Lions Club donated the Jaws of Life to the ambulance, and they didn't really have the room or the manpower to utilize it. So then they said, well, let's do this. Let's give it back to Lloyd Rescue. Yeah. So we did receive the Jaws of Life and the cutters, and we ran those tools for quite a few years until we could again update the tools.
Yeah, an incredible journey for you guys, obviously, to come to this point this year, last year, and many years. Of course, you guys are part of it, community. You joined them as well too. And what was that like when you jumped on board?
You know, they were propelling into the new technological world already at that time, and you know, since I've joined, we've really propelled into the technological world, and you know, the community should be pretty proud of what we have to offer here in Lloydminster, and it's because of the community donations.
For sure, and you have in terms of technology, the drone. You've got a lot of other stuff like scuba diving underneath water. I'm not quite sure because I don't know that stuff, but lots of different things, of course, right?
Yeah, so we have like you said, the drone. We have the ROV. We're fully capable to do underwater searches and recoveries, and from the air at night and during the day. So we're pretty proud of what we have, and it's exciting for us to work with different agencies and be able to provide this service.
Definitely. How has that changed in terms of the way you help people? It's changed obviously from 1984. Lots of different things, new technologies, but you're part of the community. And how has the community been a huge force in terms of propelling you guys to the next level?
That's a great question. The community, without the community, we would not have the equipment that we have today. And because of that equipment, we're able to go not only in our own area, but we're able to travel outside our area to, we're doing more, I wouldn't say more calls, but we're doing some other calls outside of the province, whether it's Saskatchewan or Alberta. So because we have the technology and because we have the manpower and the tools to do that, so it's interesting, and it's a lot of fun going out there to help other agencies.
Yeah, and it's interesting. You guys put your life on the line, and yet there's a lot of volunteers. A lot of people give their time. It affects your families and the day-to-day things that you guys do. Tell me a little bit about that aspect of it.
I know for myself, my family at home is just as much a part of this organization as I am, because there is that back end work the support system you have from your family and your children. You know, you are always on call, whether it's through a Christmas or a birthday, or, you know, just sitting down for a family supper, and then the radio goes off and you're called out to go to work. So I mean, it's absolutely important that they're included just as much as we are. It's,
for sure.
You were talking about dangers, and I think one of the biggest dangers in our job is pretty well traffic control. That's something that we always kind of, it's in the back of your mind. People don't slow down. People are always in a hurry. People are not paying attention. I mean, I think in the last year or two, there's been, you know, we know of 2 incidents where first responders have been killed on scene. So it's a thought that goes through your head all the time, because it's becoming a problem. And I don't think that problem is going away. I think it's getting worse, that people are not paying attention. We were at a call, for example, I think it was last year, we're just cleaning up and just finishing the call when someone was using their cell phone to take a picture, and they rear-ended someone else. So I mean, those are the things that we're trying to educate the public, just to slow down and be mindful of what your surroundings are, and be respectful too of the call. You don't need to be taking pictures.
Such an important thing to talk about, of course, for your safety and people's safety.
Yeah.
And a lot of things have happened in terms of businesses and other people jumping on board. The gala happened this year, of course. What is that for you, and how does that propel you into the new year, 2020?
It's so important. The Sirens and Sapphires Gala that we have is our main fundraiser through the year, and it propels us into the next year, and allows us to replace old equipment that we have, which we're starting to do, and you know, it just keeps everything moving. So it's so important that gala and the support from the community throughout the year. So.
Definitely. I know we're running out of time, but I love the fact that you guys have a new dog, George, as well too. In the new year, we'll talk more about him as well, or her as well. But in the new year, what can we expect?
Well, I think for George, we hopefully will be certified. We're going to be going to Edmonton. I think it's in February or March, and we've been working with Puppy Love, who's been doing just a wonderful job with George training. He's doing some fantastic things that you don't think he would do, and he's really fitting into that role. So we're really super excited that he's going to be a great part of an asset to us. We love the dog, and I think he'll make a difference in the community again too, because we'll have different avenues where we can send him. I think there's 5 of us that are trained, so we're trained as handlers. Yeah. There's, I think, 3-4 from Lloyd Rescue, and then 1 or 2 from the Sexual Assault and Information Center. So they've been faithful, and tomorrow night is our last night for training. Then he goes for more training. So it's been a long haul, but I think every minute's been worth it. He's been a wonderful asset.
Awesome. We're running out of time.
Yep.
But thank you so much, Ryan, Norm, for being here with us, and we'll be working with you in the future, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Taking a look at weather now in the Lloydminster. We're looking at -5 currently with a little bit of wind. It's starting to pick up here. That wind chill making it a -12. 76% of humidity currently. Now, if we look at the Alberta side here right now in Edmonton, it's gone down rather a whole degree at -3 now. Still the warmest in the area, tied with Wainwright. And then -6 in Vegreville and Cold Lake, -5 in Bonnyville, -7 in St. Paul and Marwayne, -4 in Lac La Biche. So north is still staying a little bit warm there. And then if we check out the Saskatchewan side here, -8 in Maidstone, -3 in Macklin, -12 in North Battleford. That's still being the coldest in the area. -11 in Meadow Lake, -8 in Green Lake, and -6 in Isle of Cross. Now, as we see here, a little bit of this precipitation is coming in from the west, hitting Edmonton, hitting Vegreville, and then up north a little bit more in Cold Lake, as well as scattered bits throughout the Saskatchewan area there. Taking a look right now throughout the region, as we said, -6 in Cold Lake, -9 in Meadow Lake, -15 in North Battleford, -6 in Isle of Cross, -4 in Provost, -7 in Mirnam, -3 in Edmonton, and wow, -14 in Saskatoon. As we take a look at the 3-day weather forecast, -10 tomorrow with that sun. However, the sun will be irrelevant due to the wind chill, making it feel like a -21, -6 on Sunday with a low of -15. And then on Monday, -7 with a low of -12. That wind chill will make it feel more like a -16. That's all we have for right now. We'll be back with more news coming up.
Welcome back. The federal government has decreased the carbon tax rebates Canadians can expect in the new year in 3 provinces. These provinces have not adopted carbon pricing models that meet federal requirements. The government has also added Alberta to the mix after the province's United Conservative Party repealed the previous government's consumer carbon tax. The biggest drop in the rebate will be in Saskatchewan, where the federal finance department says a family of 4 will qualify for rebates totaling $809 in 2020, down from $903. In Ontario, the rebate for a family of 4 has been set at $448, down from $451. Families in Manitoba will receive $486, a decrease from $499. A family of 4 in Alberta will see a rebate of $888 in 2020. The rebates are meant to offset the added consumer costs resulting from Ottawa's carbon tax of $20 per ton of carbon emitted into the atmosphere for 2020, rising to $30 per ton in 2021. And now here are your agriculture prices for today.
We're a part of less than 5% of Canadian auto body shops and Lloydminster's only locations with certified collision care recognition at City Centre Auto Body.
After 2 Wheatland Football League titles and a Tier 2 provincial championships, Lloydminster Barons coach Aaron Harper is headed for a new challenge in 2020 when he leaves for New Brunswick. He sat down with Josh Ryan earlier this month.
Back in studio, we are with Coach Aaron Harper from the Lloydminster Barons. A busy year for you, obviously, coming off of a provincial championship and then another successful high school season. Looking forward to the holidays after a bit stressful couple months?
No question, yeah. Looking to have a nice couple-week break here and get back to work, honestly, for everybody.
Yeah, and we may as well jump in right into it. You are having just coached your last Barons season, and you're going to be the in charge of high performance for Football New Brunswick, as I understand.
That's right, yeah. So, yeah, super sad to leave LCHS. A lot of really good memories there. But excited for the new challenge too, and I think anybody who kind of follows the national tournament landscape of Football Canada knows that we have some challenges ahead of us, but I'm excited to get to work. There's some really eager people out there waiting to get started.
Yeah. And so what will that be like compared to coaching? Because obviously you're kind of working with coaches and with people in the football world. Mm-hmm. You're not as intimately involved with kids, though there certainly will be some work with athletes.
Yeah, so I guess the main role is just developing players across the province, anywhere from the really young kids to kids that are playing and getting ready for university. So I'll be the head coach of the U18 team that'll be at Canada Cup, and then basically I'll make sure that everyone is developing below that with the U16s and the U14s, and then dealing with some coach development and player development across the province as well. So just generally trying to get the province a little bit better at football.
Do you like that role compared to the in-game management stuff, or is there something to both that you appreciate?
I love the game day part of football, and I'm really sad that I'm not going to get a full season with a full team for the next few years. But yeah, I love when the ball's kicked off to the final whistle. It's like why you get into coaching, honestly. The relationships is the other part too, but I think with this role I'll be able to build more relationships with more kids and see more sort of success and growth across the province. So I'm really excited for that, and honestly I'm just really excited to wake up every morning and try to help football players achieve their goals.
Yeah. What official day do you take off to officially take capacity in the role?
Yeah, it'll be in January. Yeah, I'm not like the date and hours and flights I'm on and stuff are a little bit up in the air, but it'll be in middle of January. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you really have their opportunity, I guess, to say goodbye to a few people in Lloyd before then.
Yeah. We had our banquet last Friday, and it was a really beautiful ceremony. The parents of our team this year really, did some special things for me, made a video, and it was an awesome night, reliving some old memories, and hopefully I get a chance to see everybody. But if not, then I just hope that they know how much they meant to me and how much this program meant to me, and hopefully they're proud of the work we did over the past few seasons.
Yeah. What are you most proud of, outside of obviously winning a provincial championship? When you look back, what makes you most proud?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think there's so many things. Just little successes of seeing kids achieve their goals. Kids scoring their first touchdowns is always awesome. Kids getting on the field that never thought they'd be football players is pretty cool too. Obviously, the provincial championship and the 2 Wheatland championships were pretty awesome. But I mean, that's not on me at all. That's on the players and their hard work. So hard to pinpoint one thing, but lots and lots of successes that I'm really proud of.
If you had to pick an individual moment that happened in a game, does it come down to that missed field goal? Is that the one that stands out, or is it the moment when you guys ran onto the field for the provincial championship?
Yeah, the missed field goal against Austin O'Brien is a pretty big one. Actually, the made field goal prior to that is probably like the theatrics of went into that, with Ethan not being on the field for weeks and not having a practice kick and having to be thrown into the fire, and then him just absolutely somehow gutting it out and getting the ball through the uprights was pretty darn cool. I'll never forget that story. That'll be one of those ones I think I'll be telling for a while. So I guess I'll go with that one. It was pretty incredible.
Absolutely. Do you think it could be neat to see potentially see players that you coached against on the other side of things if you're coaching out east?
Yeah. I hope I do. Honestly, I'll be at the Canada Cup this year, so I'll be the head coach for Football New Brunswick, and I hope that a bunch of our guys make the U18 team for Team Alberta or Team Saskatchewan. That'd be really cool.
Now, looking back, obviously, at the Barons, what do you think that happened with the program moving forward? Obviously, you have a trusted group of coaches you've worked with. A lot of them still be involved after this.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we have a great staff. And like I say, the success we have has never just been about me. I think we have a really good group of returning coaches, the guys that are more than capable of taking on bigger roles. And I think they're going to grow and get better, and the future is incredibly bright for this program. I hope that they learn something from me and they carry on some of the things we did, but also put their own signatures on things, and I think it'll be really good. I'm really excited for them.
Yeah, and we're certainly excited to see your career obviously develop from here. Thanks again for joining, and it's been a pleasure
you too,
covering the teams obviously the past couple of years.
Right.
So we'll be sad to see you go.
Yeah, thanks.
And obviously Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, buddy.
Taking a look once again at the weather here in Lloydminster, currently sitting at -5 overnight. We're looking at a little bit of a -13, so dropping quite a bit there. And then tomorrow we'll warm up from the overnight with a -10, and we will see quite a bit of sun there. Currently in Cold Lake, it's -6 overnight. They'll be looking at -14, so similar trend as here, dropping down there. And then -8 tomorrow, also with sun. And finally, North Battleford sitting at -15. Overnight, they're looking at a -14, and then tomorrow, -9. So thankfully, they will be warming up over time there. And if we look across the provinces tomorrow, -6 in Edmonton, -9 in Vegreville. So both of those will be dropping from what they currently are. 10 in Vermilion, Wainwright, Marwayne, and St. Paul, -9 in Bonnyville, as we mentioned, -7 in Lac-La-Biche, and -8 in Provost. And then when we look over, -7 in Macklin, that's looking pretty good for the Saskatchewan side, as well as in Meadow Lake, Green Lake, and Isle of Cross. -10 in St. Walburg, and -9 in North Battleford, like we mentioned. As we look across the country, here, we're looking at 0 in Halifax and -1 in Quebec City. Not too bad. But then you look at Toronto, sitting in the pluses, and that is just unbelievable for this time of year. They're going to be starting the new year off on the right foot. -7 in St. John, -8 in Winnipeg, -8 in Regina as well. Then looking, as we said, -3 in Edmonton, -16 Whitehorse, 22 in Yellowknife, and minus 17 at Collet, and then plus 5 in Vancouver. They're also going to be sitting quite pretty. Looking overnight across the region, minus 13 in Meadow Lake, minus 12 in Isle Cross, 13 in Pearceland, minus 14 in Bonnyville, as we mentioned, minus 14 in Provost. Paradise Hill is sitting at minus 15 in Myrnam, and as well in Wainwright, and then finally minus 14 in Unity. As we take a look at the 7-day forecast, looking at, like we mentioned, that sun with the minus 10 tomorrow, and then minus 6 with a high of minus 6 rather on Sunday, high of minus 7 on Monday, and then we jump all the way up to a plus 1 on Tuesday, 0 on Wednesday, minus 3 on Thursday, and minus 5 on Friday. So we're sticking fairly close, a little bit under the averages for this time of year, with those being a high of minus 10 and a low of minus 19. Not quite as bad as in 1992 when Lloydminster hit a minus 36. So when we look at it in that sense, we can't be complaining too much. We'll have more weather and more news coming up after the break.
Welcome back. Reeve of the MD of Bonnyville, Greg Sawchuk, speaks to our Justin Marshall about his term in office and the highlights and challenges farmers faced in 2019 and a look ahead at 2020.
Hey, it's Justin Marshall for Primetime Local News. We're down here at the MD of Bonnyville building looking at your year in review, joined with Reeve Greg Sawchuk. Thanks for joining me, Reeve.
Thanks, Justin.
How was 2019?
Well, it was a struggle. You know what? We had the economy for this area is still not moving along as it should. It was also a struggle for our farmers. Once again, we see that cumulative effect of a tough harvest on them.
So how are you helping farmers get through the harvest?
Well, you know what? There's not a whole bunch we can do about the weather. We do have a rather large ag program within the MD that helps them out on a regular basis and provides them with information when we can. But as far as helping out with harvest, there's not much we can do.
You talked about the economy struggles. What are you guys doing to kickstart it?
Well, this council has been very proactive in regards to our businesses and the non-residential tax rates. And so for 2 years in a row, we actually lowered the non-residential rate. And it's looking like for this coming year, we'll be doing the exact same thing. Anything to give our businesses a little bit of a break. Our municipality was also the first to introduce the small business tax class that was actually brought in, and we were the first ones, in the province to introduce that.
One thing that you guys done this year, you got national media attention from it, was leaving the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. Caused quite a stir in Ottawa to the point where they flew people out to meet with you. You're still leaving, but tell us how that went down.
Yeah, so we, everybody was, I would say, upset at the federal election and how that rolled out, and the feeling of Western alienation, and so we got to talking amongst our council, and we said that what can we do, and it came up that we belong to this Federation of Canadian Municipalities. It's an organization that are supposed to advocate for us, and so I asked the question in council: did they advocate prior to the election in regards to our needs? And that means advocating for natural resource development and agriculture, and they had done neither. And then the second question was, we attend a conference annually for the FCM, and it's been in Halifax, it's been in Quebec City. This year it's supposed to be in Toronto. And I said, if you look at the agenda, the study tours, take away the location, is it the type of thing that is of benefit to our municipality again? And again, our council came back, and I was very proud of that fact that it was unanimous, that they said no. And at that point in time, we decided to give FCM the notice that we were going to be letting our registration lapse. And that's when things kind of got rolling. And FCM came out. They met with us in Edmonton at RMA. We had about a 40-minute discussion with the president there. We laid it out as to how hard our area has been hit by the downturn. Tried to get across the story of what industry looks like here. And we felt that, FCM had just dropped the ball in regards to advocation for us. And so we are pulling back from that. We did hear recently, here just in the last week, that FCM has changed their tune a little bit. For the first time ever, they're actually, they've brought out a statement in support of natural resource development. So it's a step in the right direction. We'll see where they go.
Let's talk about 2020 highlights. One of the things that I'm really excited about, you're building an adventure park out at the ski hill in the MD of Bonnyville towards Cold Lake. And I think it's probably the only adventure park 1,000 kilometers. Like, I know there's one in Whistler, but other than that, you must be happy about that.
Yeah, for sure. This is a really exciting project, and Kinnessoo Ridge is a gem, absolute gem in our area, and it's going to be built up on the hill. It'll be one of the best views of Cold Lake that you can possibly get. So it's a big mechano structure. The small kids can climb on the bottom. The brave ones can climb up top, and it's just a whole lot of fun. And so we're really excited to get that built in 2020.
Awesome stuff. When will it be operational, do you think?
To be announced. We're not sure. The big thing is it's being built on a hill. It all has to be engineered, and it's coming from Germany. So
look at that.
Exciting. Yes, it's very exciting.
Reeve, well, thank you so much for catching up with us, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you and all your viewers.
All right, Reeve of the MD of Bonnyville, Mr. Greg Sawchuk, will send it back to you guys in studio.
It's Christmas and you thought everybody would stop shopping, but they shopped and shopped during Boxing Day. But a lot of people were complaining about the fact that, maybe Black Friday was better or not. So the question was, were the deals on Boxing Day better than Black Friday? And like I said, a lot of people were complaining about the fact that maybe it wasn't what they thought.
For sure. Quite a few people said that, stores maybe skimped out, and I heard specific things like maybe a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
They didn't drop down the price. They maybe just threw in something and tried to cover that, make it seem like there was a deal. I know Black Friday, there were some really good deals out there for however many stores, and it almost makes sense. I guess you're buying presents for Christmas, so they're trying to help you save money, maybe.
Totally.
Trying to make you spend your money on them, maybe.
And then Boxing Day comes up and it's like, now they can't afford it, obviously, the businesses and the companies. But I think I would wait after Boxing Day, to tell you the truth, and shop after, because in that month, everything goes extra on sale because they're trying to bring their new products, so they're trying to get rid of all the old stuff. Right, but on Boxing Day, I don't know. I don't find that it's that much,
And I guess lots of places do, stretch out that, make it Boxing Week maybe even.
Yeah,
So.
I know you wanted to get something, but you didn't get a chance to get it on
No, I was too busy watching World Junior Hockey, so I didn't have time.
Sports is first for you. I knew it. I should have known. Sports guy, right?
Yeah, as always.
As always. And now let's check out some of the pets that you guys have sent us for a chance to win a gift card from the Pet Pad, of course. We're going to announce the winner at the end of the show.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
In studio with me is Councillor Stephanie Munro. Stephanie, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to pop in.
Well, thanks for having me, Josh.
Yeah, it's obviously been a busy fall season for you guys. What has been the busiest thing for you as a councillor? Was it the budget? Was it a couple of the stop stages make during the summer at various events as part of the community? What kept you busiest this 2019?
Honestly, for me, it's been the engagement with the residents. I think that anything that we do and any decisions we make, I want to make sure that I'm engaging with our community. So, whether it's a stop at the shopping store or wherever you are, a Your Voice night, just constantly engaging with the residents of our community and getting their feedback just on general topics really is the part that I think is the most I mean, you're always reviewing budgets and reviewing your policies and procedures and reviewing your agendas. But, as far as the most time-consuming thing, I would actually say that it probably is engaging with the residents.
Is there been any particular surprises from engaging with residents in terms of a message they conveyed or feelings they had on a particular issue?
In all retrospect, I think a lot of people do understand different things. For instance, tax increases, or I guess the vast majority of people, they're on board with council. You always have your naysayers that aren't in support, and sometimes it's maybe a lack of knowledge and a lack of insight on what is actually happening. And I mean, it's a huge learning curve to actually get all of that information and to be able to understand it inside and out. So I think that is just we do actually have a lot of support. For most people, when they stop me in the grocery store or just want to say hello, even though I maybe don't recognize their face, I just want to let you guys know you're doing a really great job. And that's a really good thing to hear.
Certainly is, especially this time of the year where there's so much stress around making sure the holidays are ready, making sure your finances are in order, because it's not just a situation where the budget needs to be in order, though you guys have approved the 2020 budget. It's also just everyone's own general finances is a big priority around this time of the year.
Absolutely, and when I look back throughout the year, there's some things introducing the RAP program, so the Recreation Assistance Program. There's a lot of things that the city's done that maybe weren't spread out amongst the media, or really, I guess, the general public they maybe know about but don't have as much information. So, we have done things as a community and as a city council to try and incorporate the fact that, maybe some people aren't financially doing as well as they were in the past. So introducing things like I said, like the RAP program and having that recreation accessibility at a reduced rate to individuals of low income, we're looking towards the future, not necessarily trying to work backwards. So.
In addition to the RAP program, are there any other programs or policies that have been passed this year that you're particularly proud of that you council passed together?
The RAP program was one that I think is a great program for us. But even just when I look at all the policies and procedures, I don't necessarily see that sometimes we disagree on things, but I'm just particularly proud of the fact that we respect one another's decisions around that table. And even if we disagree, we can respect the fact that we disagree. And moving forward, we are one unified voice. And for me, that is something that I'm truly proud of as far as council goes. So.
What do you think will have the biggest impact on 2020 that you were involved with in 2019?
As far as 2020 moving forward, I think that obviously we have a new fire with their union negotiations and all of the building assessments moving forward. So we have a lot of big decisions to be making in 2020. The facilities, we just last night at Your Voice Night heard from a lot of the community. The Martin Brown redevelopment area plan, that's going to have a big impact in 2020 for sure moving forward. It's nice to see, we have had some huge successes in terms of the wastewater treatment plant funding, and like a huge kudos out to Mayor Albers for everyone's constant working towards right on that. But Gerald did an amazing job at never setting back. He just kept pushing forward. So, that's something obviously that we're going to be working on in 2020, but it's nice to know that funding's in place. But we have a lot of obstacles as a city moving forward. So when I look at things in different boards that I sit on Border City Connects, the library board, and other boards as well. And I think, there are a lot of challenges regardless. And I think for the library, even there is issues. And, moving forward, there's going to be issues that need to be addressed in 2020. And we definitely have a challenging year ahead, but something that I'm definitely looking forward to. So.
And now with the holiday season, what will you be watching at home with your family?
In terms of TV? Or what do you just
TV,
watching?
movies, anything.
Oh, so
sports too, I guess.
Yes, Christmases are definitely a great time for our family. We usually spend it at home and head to the cabin for New Year's, but as far we like to watch any Hallmark movies, Christmas classics, obviously, Elf, and it was funny because I got this shirt made and it says, "In a world full of Grinches, be a Griswold." And so my daughter says, "Griswold? Who's the Griswolds?
Oh, no.
Aren't they the Lampoons?" And I said, no. The movie's called National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, but their family's name is the Griswolds. So it's just that generational gap, right? So we just got our real Christmas tree on the weekend and got that all trimmed and decorated. So yeah, it's exciting and obviously a good time. We always try and give back a little bit to the community as well. So.
Yeah. That's certainly exciting stuff. You'll have to introduce her slowly to the National Lampoon movies a little bit more. I think.
Yeah, right. Well, that's the only one we've ever watched. So she was funny. She's like, I don't even know who that is. I thought it was funny anyways. So definitely something that we're going to have to work on apparently.
Yeah. Thanks again for coming in studio.
Thank you so much, Josh.
Cheers.
I'm Justin with Hot 93.7 and Boom 101.9, and here's what's happening. First things first, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you and yours from all of us at Stingray. Snowmobile drag races are happening at the Vermilion Airport on January 25th and 26th. That is 2 days of races and 2 days of prizes. Race registration will be happening from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. with the races kicking off at noon. It is all ages and tickets are $10 per person or $25 per family. For more information, visit our website, hot937.ca, or call Warren at 780-581-0176. New Year's Eve is next week, so bring it in with a night on ice at the Vermilion Regional Center. There will be a dinner, a silent auction, live comedy, and a dance. Tickets are $60 per person, with all proceeds going to the ice plant. And the Heartstrings and Roses Gala is happening Saturday, February 8th. Their goal is to raise $100,000 for the CT Scanner project. The evening will include a silent and live auction, fine dining, dancing, and entertainment. There are only 360 tickets available, so make sure you grab them now. Details on this event can be found on our website, hot937.ca. I'm Justin with Boom 101.9 and Hot 93.7, and that's what's happening.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
We are here with Garth Rosewell, MLA for Vermilion, Lloydminster, and Wainwright. Thank you for being here with us.
Oh, thanks for having me, you bet.
Thank you. So you were just in Calgary, right? You were doing some
Yes,
stuff in
we
Calgary.
had a caucus meeting. It was a surprise one.
Yeah.
We wrapped up our session, and about, I think it was on the Wednesday of that week, they
Yeah.
said next week we're in Calgary for a 3-day caucus.
Wow, and a whole day of not coffee, not eating?
Oh yeah,
Amazing. It
the
was a full
the
day of
one
fun.
day was we started at 9. We had a working lunch, no coffee breaks, and we were still talking at 4 o'clock.
Wow,
So it was a busy day.
Yeah, and so much to cover, obviously.
Yes, yeah.
So many things happened for 2019. Obviously, you were in assumed office in April
Yes.
16th of this
Yeah.
year. Let's talk a little bit about the highlights. Obviously, a lot has happened, but a lot of bills were passed as well too. Let's talk a little bit about the highlights this year.
Well, the highlights, for me in the spring session was just learning the ropes, and I felt I was more productive or effective in the fall term. So we passed a lot of bills, apparently, we passed 16 bills this fall, which what they tell me is a lot. And the areas that were probably most relevant to this area is in agriculture. We passed new trespassing laws where the fines will be greater, and that was prompted by the protesters that went on that turkey farm down in Fort Macleod. And so there's really large fines and for individuals and even larger ones for organizations if they're represented. And so we just want to protect property rights and biosecurity on farms. So that was part of it. And then getting more police out there and giving more responsibility to wardens and sheriffs to try to get more policing available to help fight the rural crime issue.
And I think that was a big discussion in
Yes.
terms of a lot of Lloydminster people talking about that,
Yeah.
and farmers as well too. And what are some of the other bills that you guys passed?
Well, from the Farm Safety,
Yeah.
Freedom and Safety Act, it was, we promised we'd do that and get rid of Bill 6, and this was Bill 26. And so we made it so that there was a lot of consultation that went on across the province, and they came to Vermilion and spent an afternoon there with a group of about 35 farmers. And it was really productive. The farmers really were engaged and really good conversations. So the result of it is I think we got something that'll fit farms and not over-regulate them.
And so good for you because you were a owner of a fertilizer business
Yes.
and a financial advisor. So
Yeah.
these things are really working in your favor in terms of really working these.
Well, yeah,
when you're-
no, yeah, the farmers, I understand, I think I understand farmers,
yeah.
and I've got a feel for the problems they got, and I had really good conversations with them, and the report so far, they're pretty happy with what we've done there. Yeah.
And the carbon tax, I think we talked about that a little bit, but
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about that. Obviously, you had plans to remove that,
Yep.
and how's that going?
Well, good. We removed it and then we replaced it with technology and innovation emissions reduction program. And what it is, it went after heavy emitters, and as long as you stay below a certain level, you're fine. If you go above it, you pay a fee. And what was important there is that the federal government recognized that or gave us equivalency. So they say, okay, well, we're not going to regulate you on those because we consider it equivalent. And they did. Now, that doesn't mean that they aren't going to try to bring in their retail carbon tax in January 1st, but we do plan to fight that if they do. So we've had some good success with getting some recognition of some of the stuff we're doing, and maybe not taking the load off of the federal. Some of the industries told us, look, if we're going to give money to a government, we'd rather give it to a provincial government than a federal government.
For sure.
So that was it was done with the blessing of the industry.
Of course, and we talked about the Energy Center, right?
Yes, the Canadian Energy Center. So that's in the campaign it was called the War Room, and so that's what it's called now, the Canadian Energy Center, and it just got going. So. But what it's designed to do is to push back on foreign funded interests coming in and trying to landlock our oil. So we're doing that type of thing. The other one is the curtailment with regards to oil. And we made some really good, Sonia Savage, the minister, has just done a great job. Industries would come and talk to us, and they said, you'd have a bigger impact on employment in the oil industry if you took or exempted conventional oil from curtailment, because it takes more people to do that as opposed to oil sands.
For sure.
And we did that. And so hopefully that shows its way in more employment.
Yeah, and so much going on. What are you looking forward to in 2020?
Well, it's Jason Kenney, what he told us, he said, talking to some media, and they were saying, boy, you're just passing lots of laws and stuff. And he says, well, you ain't seen nothing yet. So it looks like we're going to be very, very busy in the new year. We do have another budget coming in the spring, because that's traditionally when it gets done. And so that's what he's promising us. So I think we'll be very busy.
We'll be good. Okay, well, we're running out of time.
Sure.
Thank you so much for being here.
Okay, thank you.
Lots happening.
You betcha.
Okay.
Thanks.
As we mentioned earlier, will be -10 tomorrow with a little bit of sun there. And then on Sunday, we have a high of -6, low of -15. Monday, a high of -7, low of -12. And then we kick it up a little bit with a high of +1, low of -9 on Tuesday. On Wednesday, it'll be a high of 0 and a low of -2. So that should be a pretty consistent good day. And then Thursday, a high of -3 and low of -8. Friday, a high of -5 and a low of -7. And then, so, not looking like too bad of a week there. Should be some pretty high points there.
Some pretty high points. I love that. And it's Friday, and you know what that means. It's time to announce the pet winner of the week, of course. Pets of the day. Here we go. Look at them. Da-da-da-da. Oh, Beautiful Bliss is the winner, submitted by Taylor. Thank you. We're going to announce, we're going to obviously call them and tell them the winner is Taylor and their little Bliss. I love that. Such a cute dog.
For sure. And Bliss is our last pet winner for the decade, for the year, for a while, I guess.
Which is awesome. I love that. What a cute pet. I really enjoyed watching this pet, and I'm glad that they won, or he won, or she won. Bliss.
Yeah, for sure. That is a cute pet, like you said. And I mean, it's unbelievable. The decade's wrapping up already. It seems like just yesterday it started.
We're going to say see you next year, right? That's what we're going to say. And that is it for the show. Thanks for watching, everybody, and have a great weekend. We'll see you again on Monday.